Hey guys, welcome back to the Curly Reader. My name's Amanda, and today I want to share with you my February wrap up. So during the month of February, I read 11 books. I did host a readathon in February called Historathon, so the majority of the books that I read were for that readathon, but I was able to read a few other things as well. So I just kind of wanted to do a complete month wrap up to kind of go over what I read for the entire month. So as far as some of my stats go for the month, like I said, I read 11 books, and for everything else, it seems like the number kind of is 7. So of those 11 books, 7 of them were books that I have on my shelves at home, and 4 were from the library. I read 7 historical fiction books, and the rest kind of fell into other random categories. I read 7 audiobooks, 3 physical books, and 1 ebook. As far as the age ranges go, it was fairly well distributed. I read 4 middle grade, 4 adult, and 2 young adult. And then for my ratings, I had 7 4-star ratings, 1 5-star rating, 1 3-star, and 2 2-star ratings. So that's kind of a little bit of the stats for the month that I keep in my reading journal. And so as far as the books that I read, I thought I would start with the books that I read for Historathon. I did a complete Historathon vlog that include all of the books that I read for Historathon and my detailed opinions on all of them. So I'm not gonna really go over these in very much detail, but I figured I would kind of go over them very quickly for you. So I'm just gonna kind of go down the stack. I read Bud Not Buddy by Christopher Paul Curtis. This is a Newbery Award-winning middle grade book. It is set in the 1930s in Flint, Michigan, and we just follow a little boy, Bud, not Buddy, who is trying to find his father. So this was really good. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I also read The Forgotten Seamstress by Liz Trenow. This is one that I picked up at a library book sale randomly. I'd never heard anybody talk about it before, and it is about a woman who claims to have had an affair with the Prince of Wales in the late 1800s, early 1900s, something like that. But it was basically before Queen Elizabeth. So anyway, so she claims to have had an affair with him, and then we're following a current timeline of this woman who has a quilt, and one of her friends recognizes that some of the material in the quilt is May silk, which is a specific fabric that was curated for the then Queen of England, and so they're kind of putting the pieces together and the stories come together and all of that. I enjoyed this one, gave it 3 stars. I also read Molokai by Alan Brennert. This one was fascinating. Out of all of the ones that I read for Historathon, I probably learned the most out of this one. This is about a little girl who lives in Hawaii in the late 1800s, and she contracts leprosy, and they had put together a leper colony in Hawaii at the time on the island of Molokai, and it's just her story of being sent to this leper colony, and it follows her through her entire life. And I learned so much in this book. Really, really great. 4 stars. That one may eventually end up being a 5-star book, but right now it's still 4-star for me. I also read Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. This is one that is like a retelling of the story of Hosea from the Bible, and I did not like this book at all. I gave this 2 stars. The male protagonist in this I found completely repulsive, did not like him at all. The only reason I ended up giving it 2 stars was because I really enjoyed the female protagonist in this and reading from her point of view, but yeah, did not like this book at all. I know that's an unpopular opinion. A lot of people really, really love this book. I honestly don't understand why. So I have very strong negative opinions about that book. I then have here Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys. This was our group read for Historathon, and I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. There was something at the end that I was not a fan of, and I did a full book review on this, so you can see more of my opinions on that, but I gave this one 4 stars. I also picked up Gaijin, American Prisoner of War by Matt Faulkner, and this is a middle grade graphic novel that follows Koji, I think is his name. Yeah. Um, this boy who is half Japanese, half American, and he is sent to an internment camp during World War II in the United States. And so it just kind of follows his life or his experience with that. I didn't really care for this. I thought it was too simplistic. It didn't really get into any of the meat of any of what was going on. I ended up giving it 2 stars. Just wasn't a huge fan of it. And then the last book that I read for Historathon I don't have here, and that is The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. I really enjoyed this book a ton, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed the characters in this book. I thought they were really well done. And yeah, so those are all of the books that I read for Historathon. And then getting into the other 4 books that I read. The first one is Hey Kiddo by Jarrett J. Krashashka. I had to return this one to the library, so I don't have it anymore. But I picked this one up because it won the Odyssey Award for the best audio book for children's and teen literature. And it is a memoir of Jarrett's life. And I thought it was interesting because it was a graphic novel, but it won the audiobook award. So I picked up the graphic novel and the audiobook both and read the graphic novel as I was listening to the audiobook, and both were fantastic. This book, I didn't realize this. At the end of it, the author goes into a lot of detail on how he put together the cast of the audiobook. The audiobook is very much done in a storytelling format. You get a lot of background noises, car noises, people walking, that sort of thing. But it's also completely full cast. And because this is nonfiction and it is a memoir, a lot of the characters in the book are his family and friends. And his actual family and friends do their own voices in the audiobook, which I thought was amazing. His dad, who was pretty much estranged from his childhood, he got to know him as a teen. He came in and portrayed himself in the audiobook, and the fact that he was able to do that was just so amazing. And then on top of that, one of the things that I thought was really cute or really neat was that his son portrayed Jarrett as a child, and Jarrett's best friend's son portrayed his best friend as a child in the audiobook. And so it's just bringing in the family and the extended family and all of his friends and being able to put this together with them was such a cool experience. Even like some of his old teachers from elementary school and stuff, they got in on it, and it was just such a cool thing to listen to and to experience. And I'm very grateful that I consumed the book in the way that I did, because I definitely think I got the most out of it that way. Another book that I read this month was Anne of Avonlea. I read this for the Analog 2020 that I'm hosting with Tia from Tia and All the Books, and I enjoyed this. I didn't like it as much as Anne of Green Gables, so I only gave this one 4 stars. But I did like it. This one follows Anne after Anne of Green Gables ends. She's 16 years old, and this is like the next 2 years of her life. So from 16 to 18, and she's a teacher in Avonlea. And so it just follows her there. Like I said, I enjoyed it, but I didn't quite like it as much as Anne of Green Gables, so I gave this one 4 stars. I don't think I said what I gave Hey Kiddo. I gave Hey Kiddo 4 stars as well. So, but I really liked it. Another one that I read with my kids, and that is Some Places More Than Others by Renee Watson. This was our community reads pick for this year for the middle grade option, and so I had both of my girls read this, and I read it as well. And it is about our main character, Amara, who lives in Portland, Oregon, and her dad's family is from Harlem, and she really, really wants to visit New York City and visit Harlem and get to know her family because she's never met a lot of her dad's family. And so she gets the opportunity to go to New York, and her grandfather just really shows her a lot of where they came from and what was important to them in their neighborhood. It has a lot to do, like I said, with Black history and just kind of the roots of a lot of the African American experience, especially in New York. And it also has to do a lot with her father and her father's relationship with her grandfather, and how accepting your children for who they are and not who you expect them to be can affect them through adulthood. And it was really well done. I gave this one 4 stars, and I'm going to be able to take my kids to go meet Renee Watson at the end of March, and I'm very, very excited to share that with them. So that was another one that I read this month. And then the last book that I read this month is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and this is a reread for me. This is my first time ever rereading the full Harry Potter series, and I started this month with this one. I really enjoyed it. This was my 5 star of the month. I just think the world of Harry Potter is so immersive and so just magical that you can't help but fall in love with it all over again. And I've watched the movies multiple times, and but I had never reread the book from that first time I read it when I was a junior in high school, and I'm not going to tell you how many years ago that was, but it was a lot. And so it was just fun to really get into it again. I'm rereading Chamber of Secrets in March, so I'm looking forward to that as well. But 5 stars for this one. So those are all the books that I read during the month of March. If you have read any of these, I would love to hear your opinions about them as always. And other than that, I hope that you enjoyed this and that you stick around and subscribe. And until next time, see ya.